Until his accident, Yara Ryan was just a young man who loved his motorbikes.
18, young and dumb. My accident was in 1995. I was on a motorbike, road bike, an RGV 250, and I came around a corner and it understeered around this corner and I just smashed into this ditch. When I smashed into the ditch, it flipped the bike and that tore the tank off the bike and threw petrol everywhere. My hands were caught on the handlebars, so when I flipped forward, it just snapped my back that way from it's called a burst fracture. So that just burst, and that's why I have an incomplete spinal injury.
He spent 6 weeks in hospital and rehab.
I don't know, you probably did disheartened for a while, and then I know you got a lot of time to think. 6 weeks in hospital, lying in a bed, goes very slowly.
Just like many Australians with disability, sport helped him cope with the recovery.
There was a nurse there that would come around and hassle everybody to come and play, do things. So she'd grab you when you're still in bed. She'd be going, come and play basketball with us, you look good, you'll be good. And when you go into rehab, she comes and hassles you again.
This year, sport has given him a little bit more, with selection in the Australian Wheelchair Rugby League team, the Wheelaroos.
It's a relief to get selected. That was one of the most nervous days of my life, sitting there waiting to see if I would be selected. I came home exhausted. It was very, very, took a lot out of you. I couldn't believe how much nervous energy it takes out of your body. It was amazing.
The Wheelaroos are competing in the World Cup in Britain in July. If they can find the funding, that is. Wheelchair Rugby League chairman Joseph Chidiac says they are still short of the $105,000 that they need.
We're about 75% there. We've got under 2 months to find the other 25%. It won't be easy, but we're very determined to achieve our goal.
Chidiac questions why the team has to raise its own money.
I think it's heartbreaking for local outfits when they've worked so hard to get to a position where they could represent the country, and then they're faced with, say, a bill of $10,000 just to get to the event, or just to buy equipment to be able to represent the country.
Funding is not only a problem for Wheelchair Rugby League, disability sports are underfunded in general, a problem faced by the Australian Paralympic Committee.
So annually we're receiving about $13.5 million that we provide to sport programs primarily. So as I said before, there's 18 sport programs that we work with. And so when we take that 13 million, it goes pretty quickly. There's a lot of need.
This leaves Australia behind many other nations.
When we look at our competitors, so we're about to go to Rio in three years' time. The Brazilian Paralympic Committee, the same as us, instead of working with $14 million, is working with about $80 million. So it's very important, and we are behind all of the other nations that we're sort of competing against at the moment.
Sports Minister Kate Lundy was not available for interview. However, a spokesperson from Minister Lundy's office has told us.
The government wants to see more people with disability have the opportunity to get involved in sport at the community level and excel on the world stage. The fact that government funding for our Paralympians has almost doubled in the last 7 years is a sign of the Australian government's support for athletes with a disability. In the last year alone, government funding to the Australian Paralympic Committee increased by 9%, or $1.1 million, the single largest increase of any organisation funded by the Australian Sports Commission.
And the Australian Sports Commission has pointed out that the Australian Paralympic Committee is the most funded of all sporting organisations. However, when we look at individual sports, there is still a large gap between funding for able-bodied sports and sports for people with disability.
So look, at the moment, probably in our big program, swimming and athletics, where we provide the most amount of funding, it's probably about 6 to 10 times less funding. So, and that's that's direct investment into those programs. So those sports do a good job of using some of their resources that they have as an organisation and applying those to the Paralympic program. So there's a lot of value add to our direct investment into those, but they are some way behind in terms of financial investment.
Michael Hartung believes this is unfair.
These guys are making the same commitment to training and competition. They're chasing the same aspirations and objectives, in a Paralympic sporting context. So the training load and all that sort of stuff is no different. And I think it's only fair that those athletes are provided the same opportunity. The Australian Winning Edge, which was presented by the Australian government, sets out that a top 5 finish and a top 5 in the Olympic Games and Paralympic Games is considered the same. They're the ambitions for Australia in sport. And that, if we're going to have those equal ambitions, we need to be supporting that with equal funding.
Hartung argues the money is needed to help athletes with disability overcome many barriers.
Where you're looking at particular equipment that might be adaptive or specialised equipment for that particular person, there is quite a significant cost there involved. You could be looking at prosthetic legs that might cost $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. If they had to buy them off the shelf. You've got wheelchair basketball guys that play in a wheelchair that's anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000. The same with wheelchair rugby; they could be spending $10,000 on their modified chair. So there are some really high equipment costs. So in addition to that, there's also that other side of things, which might be where they require a different training environment or different support within that training environment. So it might mean that they need a carer to do their sport. Most athletes will have a carer supporting them. So there's an additional staff member that you wouldn't necessarily see in able-bodied sport. You might see they require, the example of a swimming pool with an athlete with high needs. They may not be able to share lane space with more than 1 or 2 other athletes. So, the costs of that lane space are higher because you can't fit as many people in it as you would see in a traditional, commercial model for a swimming pool.
Angus Ng from MacArthur Disability Services says funding is also needed to help sports groups reach people with disability.
As much as it's difficult for people with a disability to find these groups, it's also difficult for these groups to touch base with these people with a disability. The problem primarily comes down to budget.
For Yara, sport has given him the chance to find a group of people who support each other.
It helps you in your day-to-day life having to overcome your own issues and those sorts of things. But it also helps in just having a group of friends that you can talk to and you get to know and you become brothers with or sisters, and it's good. It's a highlight.
It's also given him a way to find peace in his day-to-day life.
You're getting told what to do all the time, so it becomes a little bit like meditating. You're only ever thinking about the thing that's right in front of you. You're only being in the now a lot, and that is very relaxing. You come away from basketball, from training, you feel everything's washed away.
Ben Lai is a trainer at UTS Gym with a Bachelor in Health Science and Diploma of Exercise Physiology and Management. For the past 8 years, he's been working with athletes with disability.
Oh, look, I love this sort of stuff. I love a challenge, and for me personally, I love the mindset of the people that I've been working with. They are I want to work hard. I'm completely committed, I'm completely determined to go as far as I possibly can in exercise and fitness. And for me, that's awesome. I don't have to baby them along. I don't have to cuddle them. For them, I don't see them as disabled. I see them having a certain set of abilities that we have to unlock and bring out their inner potential. And that's what I love. I like to tell them all that they're all inner heroes, superheroes, and all that they're dealing with at the moment is kryptonite. Get rid of the kryptonite, what have you got? Let's work with that. And that's what they love. They go, all right, this is what I can do. I'm like, yeah, that's what you can do. And we love that sort of thing.
He says the benefits go beyond the sports arena.
They're getting stronger. They have a higher level of self-independence, so independent living improves and increases. And I also like to think that, look, they start to feel good about themselves. Their own self-confidence improves. So, they're stronger, they're faster, they're the best that they've ever been. So therefore, everything else works holistically and they feel a lot better about their general way of life.
He's seen the effects exercise and sport can have on people with disability.
I think one of the best memories I ever had was when one of our clients was told that he would never ever get out of his chair on his own. And we've been working with him for 4 years now. And just the other day, he took a photo of himself standing up against the wall. Sure, he was bridged against the wall, but he was standing. And so the smile on his face that was captured in that photo was just amazing. For him to stand up, something that we take for granted day to day, was awesome. He was beaming. And to me, that is something that's why I do what I do. That's something that I work towards.
Back at MacArthur Disability Services, Angus Ng says making sport more accessible for those with disability won't only benefit them, but their carers.
To help our carers out there, it's about finding different outlets for people with a disability to get involved with the community and reduce that stress load. Not being reliant on singular individuals or a singular group of individuals to provide 24-hour care. Having sport there as a mechanism provides that outlet as the individual has a way to express themselves, has a social group to turn to, and that group becomes their carer in essence. So yes, there is certainly an aspect there where growing the sports helps our carers.
For him, providing sport for people with disability is extremely rewarding.
I definitely believe that giving people with a disability an opportunity to get involved with sport is an incredible thing. It's a really wonderful thing. Giving people with a disability the opportunity to get involved with sports is giving people the opportunity to be passionate about something. You've got people who are more passionate, who are more driven than anything.
Chidiac has seen this passion in the athletes playing his sport.
Back in January, one of the games, one of the rounds, an athlete came up to me and basically put his hand on my shoulder and said thank you. I thought it was, I jokingly replied to him, what have I done now? And he said, no, seriously, thank you. And I looked at him, he had tears in his eyes because basically, up until the age of about 17, he was playing rugby league. I think he was involved in an accident which took that away from him. We've been able to give him that, his rugby league back.
And it's because of this passion that Chidiac says going to the World Cup is crucial.
Being involved, attending the World Cup is far too important to athletes to sort of, we have to keep sort of putting on, doing everything we can to get there because the importance of it is way too, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if we don't do it, the damage that we could cause by expectation and hopes is it's too bad.
Yara Ryan is uncertain how to compare life in and out of the wheelchair, but he knows sport has given him a sense of direction.
Sport gives you something to do that's real and that's not, and gives you purpose. So in that way, yes, but as normal, I don't know what normal is anymore. So this is normal. So what I do now is normal. So it's hard to give you a comparison because it's hard to actually see one.
For now, all that's on his mind is getting that green and gold jersey on at the World Cup.
It's going to be good to get to the end of this and hopefully realise my goals and look back on it fondly and say that was a mountain I climbed, hopefully.